One wrong step, and I found myself transmigrated into the body of the ultimate pushover in a trashy romance novel. The quintessential cuckold protagonist. The moment I opened my eyes, a waffle cone smashed directly into my face. This tastes gross. I wanted blueberry. Before I could wipe the ice cream from my eyes, my mother-in-law, Brenda, was already screaming, her eyebrows knitted together in fury. You useless freeloader. You're not half as sharp as Gavin. Go buy another one now. Beside her, my wife, Elena, who had been chatting warmly with her assistant Gavin, turned her face to ice as she looked at me. Mop the floor first. Ping. System detected. Host compatibility confirmed. The turnabout system has been successfully bound. Main mission. Reclaim your wife's heart. Humiliate the homewrecker. And reach the pinnacle of life. Reward. $100 million. I processed the plot download and felt like the sky was falling. The original owner of this body was a trifecta of tragedy. No money, no power, a full-time house husband, and a saint among simps. If that's the case, I had no choice but to invoke the sacred art of quiet quitting. I was definitely getting a divorce, but I was taking the money, too. No matter how rough the storm, a fish that knows how to swim won't drown. Man, it's a shame I didn't get to spend that last commission check. I sighed under my breath, grabbing a handful of wet wipes to clean my face. If I'd known, I wouldn't have blown it all at the club last night. Now stuck in the body of this doormat, it was a total disaster. Seeing me zone out, Brenda put her hands on her hips and started spraying venom. You jobless leech. What kind of daydream are you having about commission checks? You eat my daughter's food, spend my daughter's money, and you can't even buy the right ice cream. Are you completely useless? Why aren't you moving? Are those holes under your eyebrows just for breathing? The noise was giving me a headache. I frowned. Are your hands broken? Can't you use your phone to DoorDash it? If you can't work an app, ask your favorite assistant Gavin to buy it. I was already annoyed, and the old hag insisted on walking right into the line of fire. I swept my gaze over the three gems in front of me. A mean-spirited mother-in-law, a wandering wife, and a spoiled brat of a son. The whole family was a nightmare. Just thinking about them made my head spin. Given the situation, if I brought up divorce immediately, I'd lose the mission reward and probably get kicked out with nothing but the shirt on my back. I looked Brenda up and down. Nearly 60, caked in heavy makeup. This shrew wasn't even human. She monitored and squeezed the original host 24/7. The housework was never finished, the nagging never stopped. Even when she was at the poker table, she'd check the home security cams to see if Mason, the original host, was slacking off. The most melodramatic part? In the original story, after Elena and her money were completely drained by her assistant Gavin Reed, Mason, the spineless turtle, actually forgave her, leading to a happily ever after. I just wanted to say, what the actual hell? Hey, you freeloader, you dare talk back to me? Brenda recovered from her shock, rolling up her sleeves to reveal sharp, crimson manicures. I'm going to show you why flowers are red today. She lunged at me like an angry lioness. I caught her wrists firmly and shoved her to the side. Mason, you dare touch my mother? My wife, Elena Vance, saw her mom get pushed and instantly exploded. Even if you're upset, you can't treat an elder like that. Oh, so you admit what she said was vile. I crossed my arms and sneered. I've been working like a dog for this family, serving you all like a maid, and you don't even treat me like a human being. And you, Elena, you're already cucking me. What do you get the nerve to lecture me? Elena looked like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. She bristled instantly, pointing a finger at me. You're lying. I didn't. Don't you dare throw dirt on my name. Gavin and I are just friends and colleagues. You've been stuck at home too long. Your mind is full of filth. I didn't say a word. I just stared at her quietly. Elena wilted under my gaze, subconsciously taking a step back. Seeing this, I shook my head. Suit yourself. Emotional cheating is still cheating. You've taken a couple photos together, kissed. If you can still call that just friends, then I admire your mental gymnastics. I gave a mock bow of respect. I truly admired that kind of delusional princess logic. If we'd had people like her during the darker times of history, maybe confusion alone would have won wars. What do you mean? Elena was bewildered by my uncharacteristic behavior. Let's divorce, I said, deciding to test the waters. Give me back the $500,000 down payment for this penthouse, and you can keep everything else. What? Before Elena could finish, Brenda yanked her aside and roared. Divorce? You useless waste. You have a nerve to ask for a divorce and demand $500,000. Let me tell you, you can have the divorce, but don't think you're taking a single cent from my daughter. Just as I expected. I didn't argue further. I cut straight to the chase. Then from now on, I'm not taking care of this household. If you want someone to serve you, hire a nanny or a butler. I quit. I turned and walked toward the guest bedroom. If that was how they want to play it, I'd go full slacker mode, wait them out, and plan my next move to complete the system mission. I'd be an idiot to walk away from $100 million. The system only cared about the result. The process was up to me. I'd barely taken 2 steps when a glass of water smashed at my feet. Bad Mason, you bullied Grandma. I don't want you anymore. I want Uncle Gavin to be my daddy. I stopped dead in my tracks, narrowing my eyes at this ungrateful brat. This little wolf cub. The original host had poured his heart and soul into this kid, staying up all night when he was sick, learning new recipes when he was a picky eater. Even when the kid was naughty, Mason only ever used gentle persuasion, never daring to lay a finger on him. And the reward was, I want a new daddy. Spoiled rotten. I looked around, searching for a suitable tool. Hitting a woman is domestic abuse. But disciplining a son? That's education. Spare the rod, spoil the child. Today, I was going to teach this brat a lesson on behalf of the original host and vent some anger. I strode to the corner, pulled out a feather duster with a thick wooden handle, and weighed it in my hand. Then I charged at Leo. Seeing my posture, even Elena realized I was about to hit the kid. She rushed to block me. Mason, don't you dare touch my son. Exactly. You useless man. You have no power, so you take out on my grandson? Real classy. Brenda puffed out her chest, blocking Leo as well. Move. I roughly shoved the 2 women aside. I raised the duster and brought it down hard on Leo's backside. Leo was stunned, instinctively squeezing his eyes shut. Whack! Dust motes flew into the air. Wah! A shriek of pain followed instantly. I grabbed him with one arm, clamped him under my armpit with his but facing out, and struck again. Turning the house upside down, are we? You dare throw a cup at your father. Boo-hoo. It hurts. Let me go. Whack! I hit him again. You want a new daddy? You unfilial little wolf cub. I raised you for nothing. Grandma. Mommy, save me. Whack. Still have the energy to call for help? Bad Mason. I hate you. Whack. Still cursing at your father? Whack. 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 After a 3-hit combo, the brat finally didn't dare to make a sound, only covering his mouth and sobbing quietly. Seeing this, I let him go and put him down. My mood had improved significantly. Mason, are you crazy? Elena scooped up Leo. Is that how you treat your own son? I tossed the duster onto the floor. You heard him. Wants a new dad, curses his birth father. If you don't beat a brat like that, are you saving him for Christmas? You still can't hit a child like that. Elena glared at me, then looked heartbrokenly at her sobbing son. Great, you useless waste. You've really grown a spine now, haven't you? Brenda rolled up her sleeves, ready to start a brawl. Mom, stop it. Elena interrupted her, her tone impatient. We need to take Leo to the urgent care first. We'll talk about this later. I spoke calmly. From now on, whoever wants to raise this brat can raise him. I'm done. I can't afford to raise a white-eyed wolf. You, enough, Elena shrieked, making both the raging Brenda and the sobbing Leo flinch. She wasn't stupid. She knew I had been genuinely chilled by the words of the son and mother-in-law and didn't want to deepen the conflict right now. Mom, let's take Leo to the doctor. She glanced at me one last time. Let Mason cool off at home. She carried Leo out, Brenda following close behind, though not before turning to glare daggers at me. I watched them leave. The world was finally quiet. Ping. Host, your behavior seriously deviated from the main plot. System judgment. Critical error. Please immediately chase after Elena, apologize, beg for forgiveness, and re-establish the image of a good husband. Otherwise, there's a high probability of mission failure. Apologize to my ass. I closed my eyes and leaned back on the sofa. Host, please watch your language, or this system has the right to %. System under attack by unknown force. Calibrating. Attempting to reboot defenses. Reboot successful. Something was wrong. I sat up straight. Why would the system glitch out? A second later, the system's voice rang in my head again. Host, you win. You have your home dimension protecting you. This system concedes. But you must strictly follow the script's direction, or the mission will fail. I raised an eyebrow and leaned back again. System, have you ever considered that my method can also complete the mission? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Sincerity is reciprocal. Doing this will only push them toward the homewrecker. Have you ever heard a saying? What's saying? To act in the opposite way. I don't understand. Simply put, some problems can be solved by breaking the rules rather than following them. Host, we're doing a turnaround, a revenge arc. This isn't some heresy. I sighed. See, you're getting anxious again. This isn't heresy. This is a true turnaround. breaking out of the script, stepping out of the line of simps, switching to slacker mode first, and then striking at the critical moment. That is the wisest choice. The system went silent. It was probably downloading patches and updating its data, trying to comprehend the truth I'd just laid out. By evening, I was eating takeout while scrolling through videos of pretty girls on TikTok. This girl in the cat ear cosplay dances pretty well. Good work deserves a reward. I sent a rocket gift to encourage her. I was pretty helpless right now. The original host had maybe $300 in savings. I only had the supplementary credit card Elena left me. Running away from home wasn't even an option yet. I had to satisfy my emotional needs first and plan for the long game. Just as I was getting into it, the sound of the digital lock beeping echoed from the door. I instinctively turned toward the entryway and froze. Elena and the others were back, but Brenda was missing. In her place, following them in, was the male assistant, Gavin Reed. Good Lord, look at him. Hair slicked back with enough gel to waterproof a deck, a casual suit, ear studs, and a face covered in powder. Isn't this the classic gigolo starter pack? Elena, it's getting late. I should get going, he said, practically shooting electric currents at Elena with his eyes. Elena's expression softened into something gooey, but when she saw me, she gave an unnatural dry cough. Why leave? You helped me run up and down the hospital all afternoon. Stay, have your brother-in-law make dinner. Eat before you go. Oh, that would be imposing. I'm just your subordinate. That wouldn't be right, would it? Gavin feigned modesty, glancing at me with a hidden smirk. You're also my sworn godbrother. Listen to your sister. Stay for dinner. Mason. Elena's softness vanished instantly. Don't just sit there like an idiot. Didn't you see we have a guest? Go wash some fruit for Gavin and start cooking. I looked at Elena's slightly flushed face, my mouth twitching violently. Good Lord, this ambiguous vibe. Was I part of their thrill-seeking kink? Just thinking about it made me shudder. I snapped out of it, packing up my takeout container. That's your guest. Has nothing to do with me. If you want to eat, make it yourself. Seeing my ingratitude, Elena's face went dark instantly. She marched over to me, only to see the phone screen where a sweet-looking girl was shaking her hips. Mason, how can you watch that kind of trash in our house? If I don't watch her, am I supposed to watch you and the mistress making eyes at each other? What nonsense are you spouting? The child is right here. Elena screeched like a hen stepping on a hot wire. I sneered. Oh, so now you know he's a child? Then why did you and Brenda coach him to call another man daddy? I didn't. The old lady calls his father a freeloader and a waste right in front of him. The mother takes her son and another man to the amusement park to take family photos, leaving her husband home as a free nanny, making the kid think his dad is useless. Are these things humans do? Elena swayed slightly, opening her mouth, but no words came out. Because I was stating facts. On weekends, she left the original host alone at home to play housekeeper while she took Gavin and Leo to theme parks, participating in family events and taking photos. Mason had retired from his peak as a screenwriter to choose family. He paid the $500,000 down payment on this penthouse. The car, the wedding gifts, he paid for it all. He used his connections to support Elena's influencer agency and wrote short drama scripts for free, taking zero profit. Yet when he was belittled and misunderstood by his mother-in-law and child, Elena, the one who knew the truth best, chose to turn a blind eye. That kind of woman is the most hateful. Elena, maybe I should go. I don't think my brother-in-law welcomes me. Gavin chimed in at the perfect moment, putting on a face of utter grievance. Elena froned. You're not leaving. You helped me all afternoon. What's wrong with having a meal here? She turned back to me. Unlike some people who stay home all day doing nothing but having a dirty mind. Yeah, he's dirty. Leo, hiding in the corner, chimed in quietly. I roared, Leo. Did I give you permission to speak? You haven't had enough of a beating yet. Time seemed to freeze, stunning the three people in a room, each with their own agenda. After a long silence, Elena subconsciously glanced at the wedding photo displayed prominently in the living room. She took a deep breath. You're in a bad mood today. I won't fight with you. But you really crossed the line today. I tilted my head at her. I crossed the line? Think back. Since 2 years ago, have you respected me as a husband even once? You adopt an ambiguous godbrother. Bring him home to order your husband around like a servant. Does that make you feel powerful? Elena was speechless. She realized something was wrong, but having developed a terminal case of arrogance, she couldn't allow herself to bow her head. Women like her worship power. Once they believe their status and strength are significantly higher than their partners, they discard them without hesitation. Fine. I waved my hand and pointed at the door. I told you, I'm not managing this house anymore. If you want to eat, go out. Don't discuss me here. I'll say it one more time. Gavin and I are really just friends. With that, she dragged Gavin and Leo out. The door slammed shut with a bang, signaling her dissatisfaction. I closed my eyes. System, keep an eye on them. Host, I advise you to be kind. Do you want to hit your KPIs or not? That night, getting bored of the virtual beauties, I went to a bar to see real people. I went to the club with the most local talent and immediately opened a bottle of Royal Salute $4.4000. I swiped Elena's card. She called me immediately, asking what I meant by burning money at a bar. I told her bluntly, I've been a free nanny for 5 years. Can I blow off some steam? I hung up and dove into the dance floor, mingling with young beauties full of collagen. Hearing them call me Appa and Big Brother melted my heart. I immediately picked up the tab for a few of the most lively girls. Before transmigrating, I was a top sales director, so places like this were familiar, but I was always the one playing the grandson, accompanying clients and paying bills. Now, I was God. Past midnight, having had my fill, I wiped off the lipstick marks and returned home. I thought the mother and son would be asleep, but the house was brightly lit. Leo was throwing a tantrum about playing more, and Elena, trying to get him to sleep, was frazzled, clutching her messy hair. She used to play the role of the fun mom, but now she was helpless. I regretted coming back early. Looking at this scene, she was on the verge of a breakdown. Mason, you're finally back. She looked at me like I was a life preserver, completely forgetting about my spending spree at the bar. Quick, take Leo to sleep. Otherwise, he won't be able to get up for school tomorrow. What does that have to do with me? I changed into my slippers in the entryway and walked straight toward the guest room. I don't want this freeloader putting me to bed. Leo, what did you just say? Elena asked, shock written all over her face, cutting me off before I could speak. Leo, oblivious, looked at me with hateful eyes. I said he doesn't do anything at home all day except control me and clean and cook. He's like the maid at my classmate's house. It's embarrassing. Elena was stunned. Even I frowned. The kid's mind had been twisted to this extent. Who taught you to say that? Elena could no longer maintain her good mom image. She yanked Leo up by his arm. Leo was scared into tears, but shouted stubbornly, Isn't that what you and Grandma said? You said he's useless, a parasite in this house. My classmates' dads aren't like him. As he spoke, he kicked and punched at Elena's legs. Finally, he screamed, You're a bad mom, and ran back to his room. The noisy living room fell silent. Elena sat paralyzed on the floor like she'd lost her soul, staring blankly at the bruise on her leg. I shook my head. Following the host's memory, I took the first aid kit from under the TV stand, took out a bottle of ointment, and placed it in front of her. I said nothing and went straight back to the guest room. I took a hot shower. Just as I was drifting off to sleep, Elena walked in like a ghost. Is the reason you exploded today because you couldn't stand the way my mom and Leo treated you? I raised an eyebrow. I was sleepy, but not anymore. I sat up and crossed my legs. Don't you know the answer yourself? Back when I was at the height of my screenwriting career, I became a house husband to take care of you and Leo, so you could open your agency. I wrote scripts for you to save costs. I haven't done anything to wrong you, have I? I continued according to the original plot context. Your mother is mean, that's just who she is. But you should know your husband best. If for the last 2 years, you chose to ignore it. You ignored the old hag bullying me. You stood by while your precious son mocked his own father, and now you're basically putting a green hat on me. Don't you find that disgusting? Elena lowered her head and said nothing. Seeing this, I decided to try again. Let's just divorce. The conditions remain the same. We go our separate ways. I transmigrated here inexplicably. I had no emotional attachment to them. If I could get a quick divorce and a sum of money as capital, I could abandon this strenuous mission. The system shrieked in my brain. Warning, warning. Host thoughts are dangerous. You are here to... Shut up. I yelled internally, muting the system. You really want to divorce me? Elena looked at me in disbelief. She never dreamed I would be serious. I nodded decisively. Silence. She gripped the hem of her nightgown so hard her knuckles turned white. After a long while, impossible. She widened her eyes. I won't divorce you. You promised we'd never separate, that you'd stay with me until we were old. Are you breaking your promise? I slapped my forehead. My brain must be fried, trying to reason with these melodramatic protagonists. I instantly lost interest in the conversation. I lay back down, muttered, Suit yourself, and pulled the covers over my head to shut out the world. Elena stood there for a long time before finally dropping a sentence. I won't divorce. Absolutely not. Then she left the room. I pulled back the covers, staring listlessly at the ceiling. What a sin. I'd have to stick to the plan. Divorce was mandatory, and the $100 million had to be secured. Ping. Host, you can't go back on your word again, or we go down together. The system forcibly rebooted, threatening me with a strangely cute aggression. Oh, using idioms now. I laughed internally. Relax. Since it's come to this, let's play big. You get your KPIs, I get the money. It's a win-win. I understand your act in the opposite way strategy now. Theoretically, it is viable. We will succeed. Good. It's late. Sleep. Tough battles ahead. The next morning, I was woken by crying outside the room. I checked my phone. It was past 8. Leo was probably refusing to get up for kindergarten. I stretched and walked out of the room leisurely to watch the show. Oh wow, a classic tantrum. Rolling on the floor. No matter how Elena pulled, he wouldn't get up. Bad mommy. I don't want to go to kindergarten. I want to sleep. I want to play. Get up right now. Elena used brute force, dragging the screaming Leo by his collar toward the entryway. Rip. His shirt tore. Seeing me watching, she glared furiously. Are you really not going to help with your son? Come here. I shrugged. Has nothing to do with me. Doesn't he want Gavin to be his dad? Let his new daddy handle it. With that, I turned and went to the guest bathroom to wash up. Behind me, Leo shouted that he was hungry. Elena, flushed with rage, snapped back. You're hungry? I haven't even eaten yet. Then came the slam of the door. I scratched my messy hair, looking at the disaster zone of bathroom. A child's pajamas on the floor, toiletries scattered all over the sink. You think a bomb went off. I kicked the clutter into a corner and washed my face. While waiting for my delivery order, I did a set of Tai Chi. After receiving my deluxe breakfast, I ate while casually researching this world's data online, building a foundation for my future life here. Just as I finished eating, Leo's kindergarten teacher called. I didn't need to be a genius to guess it was about him being late and not wearing his uniform. Leo went to the best private kindergarten in the city. To show status, even the custom uniforms cost $200 a set. I hung up repeatedly. He wasn't my son anymore. Why should I handle that mess and get lectured? But the teacher was relentless. 20 calls later, she was still going. Helplessly, I answered. Leo's father. What is going on with your family today? Leo is over an hour late, and he's not in uniform. The clothes he is wearing are dirty and torn. Do you, as a father, not manage anything? Come to the school immediately. We need to talk face to face. The teacher was screaming. I held the phone away from my ear. His mother and I are getting a divorce. Leo is going with his mother, so he's not my responsibility anymore. If you have issues, call his biological mother. Let's delete each other's contacts. Wishing you a successful career. I hung up and blocked the number without waiting for a response. I let out a breath. Finally, peace. No matter which world, school teachers are formidable creatures. I changed clothes and headed straight to the biggest law firm in the city. I presented the lawyer with the data the system had collected, Elena's excessive intimacy with another man during the marriage, and documentation of everything the original host had done for the family over the years. After reviewing it, the lawyer's eyes were complex, a look of sympathy for a fellow man. Mr. Cole, what you provided only proves a breakdown in the marriage, not actual physical infidelity. If the other party refuses to divorce, prepare for a war of attrition. How about this? Draft an agreement for a $500,000 divorce settlement. We'll deal with the rest later. Understood. The lawyer was efficient, typing up the divorce agreement at lightning speed and printing it out. Leaving the law firm, I found a nearby esports cafe and started gaming. Before transmigration, I was a high-level corporate slave. I never had time to play. Now I was going to make up for it with interest. Signing the papers could wait. I needed to hit Elena with something big before the divorce, or it would just be endless bickering. Walking into the cafe, my eyes lit up. Even in this alternate world, they had companion gaming services. I immediately ordered 2 gamer girls to join me. Their voices were so sugary, I almost got diabetes. Appa, run first. I'll protect you. Remember to buy a revive token. Appa is so bad. Why did you revive her first? I was the one covering you. Just like that, I played in this gentle trap until evening. When I left, they sweetly asked me to come back for a discount. I returned home in high spirits, but my mood was instantly doused by the low-pressure atmosphere. Elena was sitting on the sofa with a black face. Leo was pouting, glaring at me with aggrieved eyes. The living room was a mess. Adult and children's clothes everywhere. Smashed Legos scattered on the floor, mixed with dirty little shoes. I couldn't be bothered. I changed my shoes and headed for the guest room. Stand still. Elena couldn't hold back, breaking the silence first. Do you know Leo's parents were summoned today? I was called back from the office to the kindergarten and had to write a self-criticism in front of the whole class. My reputation is ruined. Leo looked wrong too. It's all your fault, you useless guy. You made me lose face in front of sweet Penny. She said I was embarrassing and won't talk to me anymore. Penny? I frowned, thinking, and I laughed out loud. The little girl he had a crush on. I wiped away a tear of laughter. What's that got to do with me? You threw a tantrum this morning, refused to go to school, got late, and got scolded. If you're so tough, go argue with the teacher. Leo was struck dumb. In his desperation, tears started falling. Elena gritted her teeth, forcing down her rage. Mason, are you done yet? Do you really think we can't function without you? There should be a limit to your acting out. I'm done. You agree to the divorce, let that pretty boy take over, and all these problems go away. Facing my provocation, Elena reverted to a calm facade. Keep dreaming. Then let's keep dragging it out. I turned to the guest room, muttering, bunch of psychos. Deep in the night, I was sleeping soundly when the door opened. I squinted. Elena, wearing a silk nightgown, looked curvy and alluring under the hallway light. Hubby, can we make up? She said, walking toward me. I sat up, instinctively pulling the blanket over myself. What? What are you doing? She lifted the blanket and crawled in, leaning close to me. We're husband and wife, what do you think? At this moment, only a blanket separated us. My Adam's apple bob. I thought about it. Instead of leaving her for that grandson Gavin to enjoy later, I might as well take the advantage now. Hesitating no more, I pounced like a hungry tiger. Elena let out a short gasp. An hour later, I was smoking a cigarette. Elena was hiding under the covers like an ostrich. Hubby, you seem different than before. My hand paused while tapping ash, then returned to natural movement. I smoked silently, the ember illuminating my face in flashes. Hubby, I need to discuss something with you. My eyebrow twitched. Here comes the main event. What is it? The next morning, I saw a very happy Elena and Leo off to the garage. Hubby, meet us at the Cloud Grand Hotel tonight. Don't be late. Or do you want to accompany me to the office today? No need. I'll see you there. I lied with a smile. Watching their car leave, the smile vanished from my face. Just as I expected, Elena's sudden affection last night was a trap. She was following the original plot. Give the male lead some sugar, then use helping Gavin as an excuse to hold a fake engagement party. This woman had no brain. Gavin used sick mother as an excuse to beg Elena for a fake engagement to make the dying woman happy. She agreed immediately. Hence, last night's performance. She swore to the original host it was just acting. The most ridiculous part? Aside from Gavin, everyone in her influencer agency thought their boss was a divorced, wealthy single woman. When the original host realized something was wrong and tried to stop them from taking things further, he was arrested by the police, called in by people who didn't know the truth. It was melodramatic trash, but since I was here, I might as well play along. I returned inside and started packing. There wasn't much, just one suitcase. I didn't bother with the original host's faded old clothes. Dragging the suitcase, I went straight to the mall, bought a sharp suit, and booked a hotel suite. Time ticked by. In the evening, I arrived right on time. Walking into the penthouse banquet hall, I saw Brenda entertaining an old woman wearing knockoff designer brands. The company employees around them whispered when they saw a stranger like me enter. Who's that? Never seen him before. Maybe a friend of the boss? He's handsome. A suitor. Keep dreaming. Who would cause a scene at the boss's engagement party? That would be humiliating. I ignored the chatter and found a quiet spot to sit, texting Elena. Moments later, Elena, dressed to kill, walked over. Mason, you're here. Come on. Gavin is waiting in the lounge. He wouldn't dare start without his friend. She pretended we were just acquaintances, deliberately saying friend loudly for the room to hear. I smiled and played along, raising my voice. No need. I was late anyway. Just start. Can't delay such a joyous occasion. Elena, unable to detect the sarcasm, was satisfied. She leaned in, whispering, Hubby, you're amazing. Don't worry, it's just for show. I won't actually divorce you. I nodded with a smile, saying nothing. As she turned to find Gavin, I sent a command internally. System ready? Rest assured, host. It's solid. I relaxed. The updated system was actually kind of cute. Soon, the engagement party officially began. Gavin, wearing a tailored tuxedo, walked in holding hands with a sweetly smiling Elena. They laughed and accepted blessings from colleagues, all while scanning the room for me. Finally reaching me, Gavin acted like he was seeing a long-lost friend, coming in for a big hug. Mason, thanks so much for coming. I have to toast you. Not at all. I prepared a small gift for you and Elena. Hope you don't mind. Gavin's face lit up. Oh, Mason, you're too polite. You shouldn't have spent money. But the disdain in his voice was audible. Elena frowned slightly, tugging on the drifting Gavin. The welcome speeches went smoothly. I watched the whole show with a smile, which made Elena frown frequently. She felt my behavior was abnormal. Even seeing them kiss publicly, I didn't make a scene. Just then, the big screen, which had been looping couple photos of the adulterous pair, suddenly flickered. Hubby, I need to discuss something. It's just a fake engagement party with Gavin, not a real divorce. Thank you for understanding, hubby, but I need to go to his hometown for a wedding ceremony. Thanks for letting me do this. The recording of our conversation from the previous night ended, immediately followed by a seamless display of my marriage certificate with Elena and photos of our family of 3. Elena and the few who knew the truth froze. But the employees who came to celebrate exploded. Holy crap, is this for real? The boss is a legend. I can't believe it. Assistant Gavin, who acts so proper, is a male mistress. Shameless. With a boss like this, is the company actually stable? The room buzzed. Bold younger employees were taking photos and posting to their stories. Elena, recovering from a shock, turned pale but instinctively shouted, "No photos." Gavin reacted too, dropping his nice guy persona to threaten everyone. "Stop filming. Do you want to keep your jobs? You there, put the phone down. Be careful, or Elena will make sure you never work in this industry again." This backfired spectacularly. Everyone present, male or female, started cursing his shamelessness. Some threatened to quit on the spot. Fire me? Make me unhireable? I was poached here with a promise of high pay, but you cut my salary. I'm not working for scammers. I quit. Hearing this, Elena stumbled, but she was still the boss. She steadied herself and slapped Gavin across the face to shut him up. The scene descended into chaos. I stood with my arms crossed, watching the show. Finally, after Elena's frantic damage control, order was restored, though no one wanted to leave. They wanted to see the end. Elena, disregarding the setting, marched toward me with a face like iron. "Mason, you're playing me?" She raised her hand to slap me. I shoved her back, making her stumble. "You have the nerve to cuckold me, but I can't play you. You didn't say this last night. How would you go back on your word?" I scoffed. "Lady, you're 30 years old. Are you really this naive?" I tried to talk divorce calmly. "You didn't listen. You forced my hand. Aren't you asking for it? Since there's a crowd, I won't stand in the way of true love. Sign the papers. Civil Affairs Bureau, tomorrow morning." Elena's face cycled through red and green like a broken traffic light. Brenda, who had long supported a divorce, was instantly delighted. She started shouting that divorce was fine, but I had to leave with nothing, spewing the usual old insults. I didn't indulge her. I had the system play a compilation video of Brenda's behavior at home. It included footage of Gavin coming over to provoke me, making eyes at Elena right in front of my face. "I'll sign." Elena couldn't take it anymore, roaring, "Fine, take your $500,000 and go to hell." "No, not $500,000 anymore." I shook my head, pulling the revised agreement from my bag. "It's $2 million. 4 years of serving your family like a beast of burden, 24/7 with no time off, plus the verbal abuse. Consider it emotional damages. This money was vengeance for the original host, even if he wouldn't get to spend it." Elena stared at me coldly, but looking at the crowd murmuring in support of me, she finally gritted her teeth and signed. After signing, she threw the agreement at my face. I dodged, cheerfully putting the papers back in my bag. I understood. Excluding her 2 properties and luxury cars, she only had about $4 million in liquid cash. Taking half was pushing her limit. Watching her volatile expression, I poured a glass of wine and toasted her happiness before turning to leave. Why didn't I ask for the house? Please, I was going to be a free-swimming fish in the ocean. A house was just dead weight. Besides, the $100 million mission reward wasn't far off. We skipped the litigation and finalized everything at the clerk's office the next morning. After the mandatory cooling-off period, we got the decree. Walking out of the government building, the sun was shining. I looked at the $2 million in my account and stretched comfortably. Elena followed, glaring at me with hatred. 6 years. A full 6 years. "Mason, I didn't know you at all. You are a despicable little man. Gavin was right. You were pretending all along, plotting for my money." I sneered, glancing at her with disdain. "Say what you want, you stupid woman. You actually think Gavin will be sincere with you?" I gestured toward Gavin, who was standing in the distance, waiting for a number to get their marriage license. "Elena Hufeld, you're just jealous. Gavin is younger, more handsome, and more considerate than you. We will live better than you ever could. Demet. We'll see." After getting the divorce decree, I flew abroad to practice languages with foreign ladies. Thanks to Elena and Gavin, their scandal didn't stay contained, causing my social media followers to skyrocket to 1 million. Riding this wave, I started travel vlogging and live stream selling. I made money while experiencing everything in countries known for fun and beauty. For example, selling sunscreen and skincare to female fans while traveling, or giving male fans survival guides for traveling with girls. For a former top sales director, this was child's play. While the follower count was surging, I hopped across multiple countries, stabilizing my fan base and breaking 5 million followers. The money piled up, $1. 5 million sitting in the account. This way, even while waiting for the mission reward, I wouldn't have to worry about eating into my capital. Now, I was sitting on a flight to Brazil, in first class, sipping champagne, watching the city shrink below me. The system suddenly reported in. Host, things are getting lively with Elena. Oh, give me the details. I settled in. I've been too busy living my best life to check on them. After Gavin and Elena speed ran their marriage, the pretty boy started showing his true colors. On the surface, he was the hard-working family man. Secretly, he teamed up with some shady friends to run a scam. They tricked the greedy Brenda into buying wild funds, high-yield private equity. Once Brenda tasted the initial returns, they tricked her into investing more, even convincing her to borrow money from friends to pool capital. Then, he set a trap for Elena, claiming a $10 million web movie needed investors. He promised not only a share of the profits, but also priority casting for her agency's influencers. A combination of punches left Elena and Brenda dizzy, willingly jumping into the fire pit. Finally, Gavin and his accomplices took the money and ran. Elena, currently unaware, couldn't find him, so she went to find Gavin's mother. Only then did she learn the sick woman was an actress hired by Gavin. His real mother had been angered to death by him years ago. Panicking, she called the police. Brenda was detained for illegal fundraising, while the people she borrowed from showed up at Elena's company and home every day to riot. She was like an ant on a hot pan, looking for help everywhere. Just the day before yesterday, Gavin was arrested by international police in a casino city overseas. But the money had already been squandered. Gavin even owed 5 million Malaysian ringgit in gambling debts. Elena fainted on the spot when she heard. She had already sold 3 properties and 2 cars just to cover the $5 million her mother owed friends, plus fines. Now, knowing Gavin was in debt and the bank was calling in the loan she took for the investment, she collapsed. With no way out, she had to fire sale her company to pay debts and divorce Gavin. The dust had settled, but Elena, now penniless, grew angrier the more she thought about it. So today, she went to the detention center to disown Brenda. Host, you should have seen Elena pointing at Brenda's nose and screaming. She said if Brenda hadn't meddled and encouraged Gavin to seduce her, you wouldn't have left, and she wouldn't be in this state. That woman is miserable now. She's selling her diamond rings and jewelry just to pay rent and eat. The system chattered on excitedly. By the way, according to your plan, when do we wrap up the main mission? I smiled. No ruse. Let me finish my business in Brazil. Let the bullet fly a little longer. 3 months later, I returned to the country in a hurry. Walking out of the airport, I hailed a cab straight to the address the system gave me. Yesterday, the system told me if I didn't come back, Elena was going to fall. I was so scared I ignored my new girlfriend's resentful expression, packed my bags, and took the earliest flight back. It was dusk when the taxi stopped in front of a dilapidated apartment complex. I paid and ran toward the unit where Elena and her son lived. The car couldn't even fit through the narrow lanes of the old complex. I knocked. No answer. I remembered I should call. From a stairwell beside me, a voice filled with disbelief rang out. Mason. I turned to see Elena, whom I hadn't seen in half a year. She had lost a lot of weight. Wearing a worn-out jacket, her face gaunt, eye sockets sunken. She looked nothing like the spirited, arrogant woman of the past. Clearly, she'd been beaten down by life. On the way, the system told me that because of her bankruptcy, no company dared to hire her. She tried live streaming, but got flamed by trolls. She tried working at restaurants, but got harassed. Helpless, she turned to street vending to survive. But just as she stabilized, the city management confiscated her stall yesterday and fined her. $50 was half a month's food money for them now. After repeated blows, she contacted a mama-san from a KTV she used to work at. She was one step away from selling herself. We were husband and wife once. I couldn't watch her jump into a fire pit, or my mission would fail. Seeing me standing there silently, she broke the silence. Why are you here? Do you want to come in? I snapped back. Yeah, let's talk inside. Walking into the tiny 2-bedroom apartment, my eyes widened at the sofa. There lay a set of very revealing lingerie. Her eyes panicked. Ignoring the water she was about to pour, she grabbed the clothes and threw them into the bedroom. I bought the wrong size online. I was going to return them. Right. Online shopping mistakes happen. I forced a smile and didn't expose her. Watching Elena nervously rubbing her hands, I changed the subject. So, where's Leo? He's at kindergarten. There's an evening activity, so he'll be back late. By the way, I transferred him to a new school. He's behaving well. The atmosphere turned awkward again. After a long silence, we spoke at the same time. I was looking for you. You came to see me. Damn, this cursed chemistry. I scratched my head awkwardly, feeling a bit like a thief. While she turned to pour water to escape the tension, I decisively pulled out a bank card and placed it on the table. Elena's hand paused. What does this mean? There's $700,000 in there. The password is your birthday. She froze completely. I took a sip of water and delivered the speech I prepared. Don't misunderstand. As an ex-husband and the biological father, I have a responsibility to provide this money. No, I can't take it. Elena shook her head, eyes red, trying hard not to cry. My heart jumped. Was this pride? Shame? Or did she have another angle? Take it. I pushed the card toward her. I'm an influencer with millions of followers now. I can make money. That $2 million you gave me, I haven't even touched. I'm leaving this $700,000 as a settlement. You take the rest back. Giving her this was closure for the original host and the plot. And for someone with no status like her right now, this amount was the limit. Any more might invite disaster. The living room fell silent again. Elena's tears finally broke free, sliding down her cheeks to the floor tiles. After a while, she looked up, sniffing. Can we go back to how we were? No. I shook my head. The past is the past. We have to look forward. Besides, I have a girlfriend now. I scrolled through my phone and clicked on a photo of my K-pop trainee girlfriend to show her. See? Her name is Jiyoon. Cute, right? In the photo, the delicate features and gentle smile were on par with Elena in her prime. Elena saw it, and her face went white. I patted her shoulder and spoke softly. Don't misunderstand. I'm not trying to put you down. I just want you to know there's really no possibility of us restarting. The wheels turn forward. People have to look forward. Don't trap yourself in the past. You have to walk out of it, understand? Seeing Elena bite her lips silently, I quietly took out a business card. I have things to do, so I'm leaving. This is my number. If anything happens, call me. Let's just be friends from now on. With that, I placed the card on the table and walked around her. Just as I passed her, Elena collapsed to the floor, wailing. I was wrong, Mason. I really know I was wrong. If I could do it over, I wouldn't want anything. I just want you by my side. My hand on the doorknob paused. I dropped one last sentence. Take care of the kid and live a good life. Then I left. Downstairs, I lit a cigarette and took a deep drag, exhaling the murky air with the smoke. At that moment, the system's voice rang in my head. Ping. Congratulations, host, on completing the main mission. The $100 million reward has been transferred to your account via legal channels. Please check. System entering downtime for module upgrade. Estimated time, 1 month. Looking at the extra $100 million in my bank account, I relaxed. It was finally over. Finally, I could live the life I wanted. 3 years later, I was lying on a beach chair, sunbathing. In my hand was a postcard. On it was Leo, holding a trophy for a junior math Olympiad. And a note from Elena. Take care of yourself. Leo is very good now. I smiled and tucked the postcard away, carefully. The guilt in my heart vanished. Elena really had changed. For the better. She used the money I gave her to open a general store. Now she had 3 chain locations and planned to open another after the new year. And Leo, after Elena's correction and psychological counseling, had become sensible, knowing how to help his mom. We talked on the phone often, but whenever there was good news worth celebrating, Elena would send a postcard. As for me, I was actually a bit distressed, because I had so much money I couldn't spend it all. The original system left, leaving behind a subsystem and a new entertainment module. I could buy cultural products just by spending money. In a heat of passion, I bought songs, bought skills. Now I had earned over 200 million more, and the royalties were still coming in, forcing me to continue being a slacker and hand the company over to professionals. As for streaming and ads, I just did them when I felt like it. Honey, wake up. The girls are waiting on the yacht. I pushed down my sunglasses, looking at my new girlfriend walking toward me. I flipped up. Coming. Engines roaring. The yacht headed into the deep blue, facing the gentle sea breeze. I was no longer a common fish flapping in the shallows. I had successfully evolved into a deep-sea creature, living a free and wealthy life. Story complete.